Okay, great. Good evening, all. Since we have a lot of participants, I guess we can begin the session. So today, the topic for today's session is agri problem discovery. First, we'll have a quick introduction from Professor Kavi Arya, who is the PI of eYantra. So, Kavi Arya, sir.
Thank you, Amit. Uh, Good evening, everyone. I see a large number of participants, and I'm sure that you're as excited as we are about this entire exercise. So, as you know, uh, we are doing this session with some colleagues from DSSE, which is the Desai Sethi School of Entrepreneurship. And our team here has got vast experience in industry. We have Anu Narsiman here, if you can just give a wave. She's been in working in the biggest multinationals in the past. And I would like her to say a few words before I go on a little bit about where she's been and what is the experience that she brings to the audience here. I'd rather hear it from her in her own words. And then I'll go on to Devdeep.
Thank you, Professor Kavi. It is amazing to see 280 participants on this meeting. Thank you all for joining the eYantra meeting. I have worked in marketing and strategy, worked with 3 companies over 24 years. Titan, sold watches, sold jewelry. Then I sold cosmetics and personal care with Unilever. And in my last job, I was with Britannia and selling cakes and cookies. All of them were happy places to be at. I work with the Desai City School of Entrepreneurship. I'm a faculty member. And I think the biggest joy we get is from seeing young people like you participate, innovate, and over time, y'all will be the job creators for the nation, and that's what makes us so happy to be here. So, all the best to all of you.
Thank you, Anu. How large was the market that you essentially controlled, let's put it that way, in your last position?
So the company was about 10,000 crores, and the pleasure was having 500 crore rupees as advertising budget. So I don't know whether that's the number you wanted, but yeah, it was large. And in terms of people, managed teams that have been 250, 300 kind of teams. I'm sure Daisy here has managed larger teams. So yeah, that's the other pleasure.
Excellent. So this gives us a much better idea and a sense of the scope that you've dealt with and the scale that you've dealt with in the past than I would do justice to in a formal introduction. Thanks for that. The important point that she's missed out is that she's an IIT Bombay alumnus. She used to be an engineer before, so she used to be quite respectable before she went into all these things. So
thank you.
Thank you. We have with us Devdeep Purya Kayastha, and he's also come from industry and he's faculty at DSSE. I'll leave him to talk about his industrial career. But what impressed us was this society that he's set up called Enactus, which works with large numbers of students across the world, right, in the area of solving societal problems of various kinds. So maybe he can speak a little bit about that and his experience before we start. Devdeep?
Yes, all right, thank you. Can you hear me clearly, Professor Kavi?
Yes, we can.
All right, perfect. So I think the first of all, I'm just looking at the latest count of participants, and I think it's going up even as, between the time Professor Anu talked and when I'm starting to talk, it's 334 and it's creeping up. And I'm so happy, and I'll explain in a minute why I'm so happy. But to Professor Kavi's question, I finished my BTech in 1985. And then I did my management work for 30 years, quite similar to Professor Anu. And last 5 years, I have been teaching at IIT Bombay. And I'm doing what Professor Kavi alluded to, which is run this global NGO called Enactus. Enactus actually started in US in 1970, mid-70s. And I think the challenge that US was facing at that time was, the Vietnam War was just over. And a lot of the youth were trying to figure out, what do I do in life now? there's this hippie movement and, drugs and all kind of other stuff. And then this NGO came up, and its focus was, how do we get young students to do two things? One is, how do we help them become social entrepreneurs? Okay. And the second thing is, how do we train them to be responsible future leaders? Because, students of today, which is everybody, the 348 of you in this call today, okay, if you fast forward 10 years later or, 20 years later, you guys will be running India. So point number one is, how do you, get ready to be a future leader of India? And B, how to learn how to impact India in a large scale. Professor Anu did it in one way. I did it in a certain way. Professor Kavi is doing it in a third way. But how do each of you find your way of impacting the country and yourself? Okay, so that's kind of the background. With that, what I'll do is, let me answer three questions. Let me just start off very quickly in just three questions. One is, I'm just sharing a slide, which is why the work that we are kicking off today, why is it important for India? Okay, why is it important for India? I think the second part of the question is, why is it important for you, or can become important for you? And then the third thing is, what do we do in the next 1 hour's time? Okay, so the first question is, what does it mean for India, that work that we are doing now? Don't think that you are students, forget that you are students, but the work that you will do for the next few weeks, why is it important? I think the answer to that question is that this is focused on a very large sector for India. And just for some numbers, okay, this sector is 58% of employment and livelihood. 58% of India's population depends on this sector for their livelihoods, which is about 75 to 80 crore Indians. So if you do any work here, you may end up impacting almost 75 to 80 crore Indians. And it's a very large sector. Don't think only farms. There's a lot of post-harvesting, processing, distribution, supply chain, etc. But it's also a sector with many problems. So it needs you, I think there are 349 of you now in this call. It needs 349 of you to help the farmers solve their problems. This picture shows a parched land. But you know what? Over irrigation is also a problem. Okay, so there are many parts of Punjab, Haryana, etc., which are canal irrigated, which actually suffers from over irrigation, waterlogging, salinity, alkalinity. So can you find out some version of a smart irrigation, a sensor-based, bot-helped, robotic-helped irrigation solution? Okay, so it has got many problems. And there's a lot of emerging solutions which are coming up. Okay, there is IoT, which this project, we'll talk about. The drones and satellites, there's big data and AI, the robotics and automation. So big problems, but there are also a lot of solutions which 350 of you can actually adopt and then help the country with. So that's why I think the fact that you are here today is important, but that's for India. What does it mean for you? Okay, what does it mean for you? For you, okay, sorry, it will be a long road. You're students today, and I'm an old man. But, I'm an old man 40 years, almost 35 years after my BTech. Okay, so you've got 35 years or 40 or 45 years ahead of you. You can choose to do a job, you can choose to become a professor, or you can even become an entrepreneur. But don't see this as a certificate to get or an event to do. See this as a journey of life that you are starting off today. And those of you who want to be an entrepreneur, okay, remember this is a good time to be an entrepreneur. This is a screenshot from Startup India website. Okay, so 5 years back, when India government started up the Startup India, the law came in and certain, policies were declared. till today, just about 5 to 6 years down the line. Okay, look at how many startups we have. We've got 173,000 startups in India registered with the government of India. And every time I look at this website, it goes up a few hundred. Okay. There are 758 incubators and 164 accelerators and 738 registered mentors, okay, which are there to help you. And IT is one of them. We are probably the first, and we are probably one of the largest and arguably very good. But there are many like us. So you get a lot of support. Okay, there are ministries that you can reach out to. You can see this in the website, startupindia.gov. So I would say ki I'm excited because 350 of you are starting work which can impact India. And I showed you the agriculture sector. It can also mean a lot of very good things for you. Okay, so those are the two why I'm excited and why you should be excited. But the agenda for today is what? The agenda for today is around, how do you identify a customer problem? A lot of startups and a lot of entrepreneurs jump into a solution without identifying a good problem. The problem may not be relevant. So it's like a doctor who is starting to write a prescription without doing the testing. But if you see how a doctor works, he first tests the patient, talks to the patient, checks for the patient, understand what the problem is, and then gives the medicine. And what we learn in the next 1 hour's time from some very good people who are experiencing it themselves, Deepa and Lohit and Ajit and Amit, okay, is that how can you be a problem doctor? How can you identify relevant, scalable, urgent problems, and with whom then you can find any of the solutions I talked about, okay? So that's kind of the summary of what I wanted to say, okay? I know that's a lot. Maybe what we want to do is, I want to stop sharing. Let me stop sharing, give you a couple of minutes to absorb everything I've said, okay? And hand over to Deepa.
Okay, thank you, Devdeep sir. Kavi sir, you'd like to say something, right?
Yes. In fact, I'd like to highlight what Professor Devdeep has said, and I'd like to highlight also the fact that we have high hopes from you guys. And eYantra, as you know, is all about what they don't teach you in college, like project-based learning and actually doing real stuff, solving real problems and things like that. But more important, something that they don't teach you at college is how to fail. And entrepreneurship is as much about learning how to fail than it is about succeeding. People think that you just get a great idea, then you go and implement it and you become a millionaire and stuff like that. It's not like that at all. In martial arts, for instance, unless you know how to fall, you cannot get up to hit the next shot. Same way as an entrepreneur, unless you learn to cope with failures, because you will not always be right. And it's allowed not to be right. But you need to sort of get going with the next idea. So the way an entrepreneur looks at failure is very different from what most of us look at failure, because our entire Indian society is afraid of failure because opportunities don't come very often to them. But life has changed. And failure means, oh, that idea didn't work. Let me try another idea and just go on and go on as many times as it takes. So entrepreneurship is much more than taking an idea and making money out of it. It's a journey, it's an adventure, and life is a stage, and you guys are actors in that. And we want you to script a very exciting story for yourself. Say 20 years from now, if someone was to make a movie about you, would they like to see a movie in which a guy goes and joins a large company and keeps on doing a daily job and a routine and stuff like that? Or would they like to see someone who embraces life, tries to solve problems, has got empathy and stuff like that? So the other very important thing which has been mentioned by both Amit and Devdeep and Anu is empathy. A good engineer, a good entrepreneur has empathy. The biggest companies that you see are very often born by someone who genuinely wanted to help solve a problem, right? Not just, I want to make a quick buck. So just remember that. And we'll be talking to you about problems which actually masquerade as unmet needs, as Devdeep had mentioned. The bigger the unmet need is, the bigger the problem is, and the more exciting the opportunity is. So just keep these things in mind. So today's session is going to teach you how to look at problems in a very new way. So I'll hand the floor over to the eYantra team now. And I'd like to thank both Anu and Devdeep for very enlightening introductions and getting the thing going very well. Thank you very much, and over to Amit.
Great. Thank you, sir. I'll pass on the floor to Miss Deepa. She would be talking to you guys about customer problem and needs. Over to you, Deepa, ma'am.
Thank you, Amit, and thank you, Professor Kutyarya. So, am I audible, Amit? The first thing that I should.
Yeah.
Yes, you
Yes.
are.
Okay, cool. So I'll present my screen. Okay. Yeah. So what Professor Kavi Arya and Professor Devdeep mentioned is about the problems, about the unmet needs, and about before even we jump to a solution, what is the problem that we need to solve? So our main focus of this whole session is to understand what is customer problem, and so our main focus of this whole session is to understand what is the customer problem, what are their needs. Before even we jump to a project, we are all in this innovation challenge. Before we jump to a project or a startup idea, we need to think the customer problem, the real problem, and the unmet needs. So one question to all of you. Let's have this to be very interactive session. So one question to all of you, you can post it on chat. As per what is the percentage of India's startup success rate? Maybe no need to unmute. You can type it on chat. Amit?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so please unmute yourself. Yeah, so there's Sayuj who mentioned 0.001. Is this a success rate? Okay. 10%. 60. Below 10%. So if you Google it also, what is India's startup success rate? You will see by IBM a study that shows 90% of Indian startup fail in the first 5 years of their inception. And if we see globally also, what we see is a research by Harvard Business School also shows up that 95% of startups fail to meet their own projection. So both the study, people who have said 10%, that's really right. So it is 90 to 95% startups who fail to meet their own projections, who fail at the beginning stage. Why? Why does this happen? Why do a startup fail? Any reasons that you can share on chat? Why do startups fail? What are the reasons? Management? Is it a team management or management of the whole organization? Lack of knowledge? Irrelevant problems? Correct. Team management, idea, experience, proper planning, unclear way of approach. You guys are really genius. You know the reasons why startups fail. So you are at the right position. Not finding a proper problem. Okay, so as you all said, yes, there are top few reasons why startups fail. The first thing that is highlighted with 42% weightage is no market need. There is no market need. We have come up with a project. For example, let's consider again the real scenarios of eYantra Innovation Challenge. And formerly, it was Ideas Competition. In past 7 years, the mentoring that we used to do. So there used to be projects, a few projects where at home they had RPi, like Raspberry Pi is there. 2 DC motor is there, Pi camera. Okay, with this stuff, let's build upon a project which will do detection of leaf disease in the plant. Or else let's do a home automation system. Because you have certain things, you did it as a project. Is that the market need? Is that the real need? Right? So whenever we are working on a project, whenever we are working on a startup, We need to first understand whether this is the actual need of a market, and then we need to come up with the solution. So first and the most important thing is what is the market need. So why startups fail? Because there's no market need and we have just launched something. Then the second thing that I would like to highlight, based on again the robotics and the innovation challenge competitions of our past experience, is not the right team. Innovation competition has launched. Oh, there are 4 members needed, mandatory. Now what to do? I am the person who is very inclined, but how I get the team? Now for the team, randomly I choose some people from my college, or randomly I choose somebody who is suggested by the teacher. And the best thing is friends. We are 4 friends. Let's gather and do something. So we just participate, and then I'll highlight few experiences that are shared by students in the interview videos. So what they expressed is, first time they participated, they randomly picked few friends, okay, and they joined the competition. At the middle of the competition, they failed. They failed to complete the task, or they even failed to complete the idea that they were working on. Why? Because they didn't had a right team. There was a resistance that happened, lack of skills, lack of passion towards solving the problem. So what they did was, there were several students who participated again, thinking this in mind, that okay, they didn't had a right team to participate in the beginning. Then again they participated, and when they participated, they were very cautious about the right team. They chose from different disciplines. They chose the right kind of people who had the right kind of skills, and then they participated. And what was the result? They reached till the finals. So it is very mandatory that we choose the right team for our startup. We choose the right team for our project. So these are the 2 things that I would like to highlight, and several are the top reasons, like ran out of cash. We estimate that, okay, this is the cash flow, this is the profit and loss chart that we have, but will it survive for at least 1 year? Will it survive for 3 years? Will it survive for 5 years? We need to be very considerable about it. So all these are the top reasons why startups fail. Like even the marketing, the awareness. Do people know about you? Do they really know what you are doing? So marketing and unfriendly products. So we need to be very considerable about these top reasons. So now we got to know why startups fail. Okay, now what is important? We should know, right? What are the skills that one should acquire to begin a startup? So what is that? What skills should a founder develop? A promoter of a business, a promoter of a startup should have. So again, there is a top certain skills that are given by the survey of a Harvard Business School alumni, which is shared by Professor Devdeep in our course lectures. So these skills are very important for a founder. So again, do you see something? What do you see? Like 88%, where it is founding team assembly. Again, the team, the co-founders of your organization, the co-founders of your startup, who will be the CFO, who will be the CEO and CCO, CMO. You have to choose those co-founders very, you need to be very diligent. Like, how do you choose it? Who will be the managing board? Because why 88%? Here is what the decision making happens. Here is what the planning happens. So this is with a high weightage. So when you are a founder, when you are a promoter of a startup, when you have pitched the startup, the main and important thing is to have a correct team assembly. And then the leadership quality. What is leadership quality especially? Can anybody tell on chat? What is leadership? So in Innovation Challenge, we have a team leader, we have a mentor, and then we have team members. Why a team lead? Taking the team together, taking the ownership, right? So yeah, you need to manage the whole team. You need to understand where what can happen wrong and good. So leadership quality is basically the ownership, taking ownership of the whole project. So that kind of skills. So similarly, product management. All that goes out, is it tested? Is it done all well? So All these skills are really very important when you talk about a startup. So we also see that marketing is also a one key important thing. Why? Because we need to understand whether the startup is growing well. Is this the right thing that is going on? So let's consider, okay, so these are the skills. What we'll do is we'll not invest more time in this. What we'll recommend is you, after this session, you go through this slide and understand each and every examples covered for each skills that are covered here. So above all, now we know why startups fail. We know the skills that are required for a startup. Now, how do we begin a startup? How do we start with a startup? So to start a startup, we need to know something, right? So one example is here in this quadrant where we have customers, we have solution. So a startup can be of several modes, right? You have a solution known, you have a customer known. Can you give a certain example or company name who have the customers, who have the solution? Like any company name? Britannia, Amazon. So what they do, yeah, Jio. The best example that we see here is Jio. Initially, it was a SIM card and then it progressed, and they have JioMart and so many other things like JioFi. So what they do is they have the solution, they have the customer, they keep on upgrading. Even Windows, if we see Windows 10 was there, and now they have upgraded it to Windows 11, and everybody accepted it. They're enjoying this. So solution known, customer known, you just upgrade or you launch some new services. But how about solution known and customer unknown? Okay, Tesla, Redbus. Okay. So, okay, let's see. You don't know who the customer is, but you have some novel idea that you need to work. So that's a new market entry that has come. But this is again, this section is where the trial and testing happens. Okay. This is where you either fail or you gain something. You don't know what the customer will respond to. So this is something that is very, we need to be very diligent when we are at that phase. But what we need to focus more on, why there is a question mark, is a customer is unknown and a solution is also unknown. When does this happen? When does this really happen is at the college age, like you all, like all of us, when we don't want to go for a job, we don't want to do a 8 hours job for somebody, we want to do our own something, we want to do our own venture. How do we do that? I don't know who's the customer is, I don't know who's the what is the solution for it, but I want to do a startup. So a startup, you may feel that you don't have a customer, you don't have a solution, you don't have a business model. There's a lot of risk here, but there is a startup that is emerging. Only thing is, what is the important thing that is needed is this four circles, insights.
Okay.
So somebody wants to say something?
And I go ahead.
Okay, yeah, so this four circle is the key for you all who don't know what is the startup idea, you all who don't know what the problem you need to solve. So the main thing of this whole session is this four circles: insights, problems, solution, business model. So as you see these arrows, it's like iterative process. It is not that one thing it is stable. We'll check on it more. So again, there is a startup that you want to do, but you don't know customer, you don't know what's the solution, you don't know what's the business. How do you come up with a problem? How do you come up with the right problem to solve? Insights around you, right? Insights that you see at your places, at college, at home, at your native place, anywhere. Insights. For example, your mama may be having certain concerns. Okay, so if she is facing some problem, it is again the lakhs of mothers who are again facing the same problems, right? So that is one insight that you got. And even maybe considering this agriculture example, maybe a grandpa at native place, at village, he must be doing some harvest, but there is a lack of laborers. So that is a problem, right? Again, an insight. But insights, there can be various insights, but you cannot say the insights are the problem. Okay. After insights, one thing that we need to do before even we define a problem is customer interaction. We need to understand the customers who are facing that problem. We need to talk to people, as Professor Devdeep mentioned, that even if we have problems, how do we justify it is the right problem that we are solving? By talking to people, by understanding the unmet needs of a customer. So here is what a video that I would like to play by Professor Kavya Arya.
When you see a problem around you, or when you see anything that needs to be solved, a situation, that problem does not tell you which discipline it belongs to. It doesn't say I'm an electrical engineering problem or a mechanical engineering problem or a civil engineering problem. A problem is a problem which needs to be solved. So we need more engineers who will take the bull by the horns and get into any discipline which is required to solve that.
Yeah, to solve that problem, right? So Kavisa highlighted something very important. It is like the problem doesn't tell us from which discipline it is, from which department it is. It is a problem which needs to be solved, and those who solve it get into any discipline. Like if it needs something of a communication skill, you just get onto it just to solve that problem. So before you solve the problem, there is the customer discovery and the customer talking that you do to understand the problem. Okay, and once you have got the problem right, you define it well, and then you understand the problem again. Like, what is the problem exactly? You define it, and that's the problem. That's the right problem with the right kind of people that you have approached to. So insights are basically the ideas that are emerging for the problems. It can be any, but you need to work on customers. Okay, in this middle is the customer discovery. In this, there is a customer interaction that should happen a lot many times to understand the right problem. And once you have defined that, okay, this is the problem that I will solve, the passion that is there, the next thing is the solution. Even before, so the solution, again, it is not that, you need to jump to a solution, as Professor Devdeep mentioned. So before even you jump to a solution, again, there is some understanding that is needed. Okay. So I hope you're all with me. Maybe a thumbs up can help me understand that you're all listening. So you're all there? Okay, cool. So we saw insights. We understood that there is a right problem that needs to be solved. I cannot say that I can take an ARPI or I can take a drone and solve a problem. You need to first understand that, okay, is this a right problem? Okay. Once you have studied, once you have done the survey, once you have talked to people, you have defined a problem. The next thing that comes is coming to a solution. We cannot jump to a solution, but we have to be very thoughtful. Again, here, there is one thing that we need to do is ideas to solve the problem. Okay. The ideas for solution can be anything, and you don't have to jump to one particular idea. It can be anything. You have to be creative here. So creativity is one thing. Another is empathy as a tool. What is empathy? Can somebody write on chat? What is empathy that we need to consider before we even go to a solution? Anybody? Empathy? Prospective thinking? Okay. Anybody else? Anything else? Looking for customer point of view, understanding others, putting ourselves in others' shoes before, posing our things. Thinking from a user's point of view. Exactly. There you go. So before even we jump to a solution, we need to understand what solution we should provide. Empathy as a tool is a very important thing. So I'll play one short film, understanding and feeling what others feel. Exactly. So feeling what others feel, understanding what are the true unmet needs is what we need to understand in this empathy as a tool. There is this video that is a must-watch video. We'll share the link with you all. So it is by Ernest Siroli, who goes to Namibia, and he and his team want to do some agricultural study, and they want to teach how to do agriculture to Namibian people. So what they do is they sow some tomato seeds in riverside area, which they feel that it is a very fertile soil, and why people are not doing anything. So let's watch.
Africa grew beautifully, and we had these magnificent tomatoes. In Italy, a tomato will grow to this size, in Zambia to this size. And we could not believe. And we were telling the Zambians, look how easy agriculture is. When the tomatoes were nice and ripe and red, overnight, some 200 hippos came out from the river and they ate everything. And we said to the Zambians, my God, the hippos! And the Zambia said, yes, that's why we have no agriculture here. Why didn't you tell us? You never asked.
Okay, so what is the takeaway of this film, like of this short clip that you heard just now? Again on chat, can you share? What is the takeaway of this short? Oh, is it the hippos? What is the takeaway of this short clip that you just heard?
Africa grew beautiful.
Anybody? Any answers? Yes, you should have a local knowledge. We should do some research. First, listen to people. Lack of empathy. Okay. So the first thing that is there is lack of empathy. Second is we need to shut up ourselves and listen first. Listen to what the problem is. We should not assume. In business schools, it has been taught, never assume. Never assume anything. You have to solve. You need to understand the problem that is out there. Why the Namibians didn't sow any seeds there? Because they knew that there were hippos that will take away everything. So what is the purpose of doing it? So the main thing is we need to hear people. We need to understand why things are happening. It may happen that you are providing a solution, but they don't need it. That was a simple thing that they required. So before even we come to a solution, again, there is a study or a research that we need to do at this stage. That is, we need to understand what the right solution should be. We need to come up with lots of ideas here, and come up with the right kind of idea with the creativity as a tool. How creative I can be here. Another thing is empathy as a tool. What are the social belief, significance of the culture of a society? If you go to some Tamil Nadu, some local village, what are their rituals? What do they follow? Is there any belief that is followed, and we do some solution which is really destructive? So we need to think about it. Empathy considers significance of one's own beliefs, cultures that are followed. We need to be very considerable about that. And then only we come up with the right kind of solution to a problem. So that is the whole process. Now, there is one more thing that happens. What is that? You have a problem, you have a solution. In this whole journey, what will happen is, till the time you reach here, there is some competitor who will come up with a product or service in the market. What you'll do? If somebody comes up and you are stuck with these things, you again refine your thing. So this is like a like Professor Devdeep sir mentions in courses, it's like a snake and ladder. This whole circle is like a snake and ladder. At any point in time, you get caught by a snake, and then you come down, and then you do again your research and study, and then you again go up. So every point here is iterative process. You again go for insights, you again discover the problems, and then again you talk to people. So main thing is you have to be very considerable when you are dealing with this, a process. Yeah, modifying the products. Vinod mentioned it correctly. You modify and then you come up with this. So that is that about this. And one more thing is, so we know what our insights, we know what our problems, we know what our solution, how to come up with a solution, keeping empathy as a tool, keeping ideas and work on a creativity. And then the final thing is business model. Again, once we have a solution, the final solution, we should not jump to a business model. We should understand what is the go-to-market stuff for us, what is the right go-to-market for us, what our competitors are doing, what are our strengths and weaknesses, what are their strengths and weaknesses. We should do a SWOT analysis of that. And also, we should be very clear with our value proposition that we are doing. What is 1 year down the line our business will do or product will do. So we need to be very clear about that before even we start with the business model. So this is the four iterative circles that are very important when you are in a journey of a startup, when you are in a journey of developing a project. So you all, what we encourage is when you start with a project, if you don't have any idea, it's well and good. What you will have to do is you have the time to do the insights study. You have the time to talk to people and again come up with a problem. So in this innovation journey, try maximum talk to people, go to agriculture field and understand what are the unmet needs of a customer. The problems are basically the unmet needs of the people. So you need to talk to people as much as you can. And the one thing is, never assume that this is the right solution. You need to again iterate it well. Is this the right solution that is being given to the right people? So all those things we have to consider. And above all, by this film that we have showed you, there is one sentence that is mentioned which is very important. We either patronize or we are the paternalistic. What do you mean by patronize? Can somebody share on chat? Patronizing. Are you feeling sleepy? Bored? What is patronizing? So patronizing is basically the feeling of a fatherhood. It is about the support. Again, the empathy as a tool, keeping yourself in another person's shoes. It is the support. So when you are ready with your product, when you are ready with your services, you have to patronize, okay? Treat in a way that is apparently kind. Okay, that's a dictionary meaning, yes. So when you are ready with your service, when you are ready with your product, you need to be considerable, you need to be kind equally. Like for example, let's consider one example. There is an industry where there are lots of laborers who are working on some manufacturing. Okay, now in that there are so many people who are working. What about you come up with a solution that, okay, I'll give you 10 robots, and with this 10 robots you can do all that 100 laborers are doing. What about those 100 laborers? Unemployment. Is this the right thing for the society? So when you are developing a solution, when we are working on a solution for any kind of problem, we need to be a person of a patronizing nature. We need to understand the concerns. We need to be socially and with the society, we need to be a patronizing person, not a paternalistic which is devastating and which is destroying. So when we are working on the project on innovation challenge, whatever ideas we are working on, we need to make sure that it is for a social cause, it is for the betterment. That is what we should focus more on. Now again coming, yeah, so this is something which is very interesting and you will relate it to more. School life and real life. So school, what we used to happen is, just a thumbs up is needed if you agree with what I say. So in school, we had textbooks, we had teachers, and every time what we did is follow instructions. Every time we followed. So textbooks में इतने सारे questions है, यही questions आएंगे, इसके अलावा कुछ नहीं आएगा. Teachers, when they say, we just do a mug up of those questions and that's done for the exams. So that much study we do. Even parents, they say go to this place, go to that place and study, and we do that. So it is all about, from parents, teachers, and from textbooks, it's all about following instructions in school life. But in reality, In business life, in a startup life, it is not that. Startup is all about experiments. Startup is all about real world experiments where you try something, it may fail, but again you try, you learn what failed. It is the idea that failed, right? So what is that idea that failed? Again you learn and you refine and again you try. So when you're doing a startup, you should not fear a failure. Rather, it's a try, learn, refine, and so on. So this is one strategy that you should keep in mind while you are working on this challenge, because it happens that in past we have seen many students participate, but at the middle they give up. It's not happening. It's not like that. It is not you who has failed. It is the idea that has failed. So you need to learn, refine again, and try again. So that attitude is very much needed. So again, we come to this conclusion of this whole circles, the iterations that we do for the problem discovery, for insights and all. So what we have done is, this is clear to all of you, right? Thumbs up if you all have understood this 4 important tools of a startup. Okay, interesting. So what we have done is, to make it more clear to you, we have spent a week on problem discovery. And we have worked on this with the real people, like real places, and that problem discovery details will be shared by Mr. Lohit. So I request Lohit to take this real example.
Thanks, Deepa, for laying out everything. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So since this year's innovation challenge is revolving around agriculture, agriculture has a lot of sub domains. It's a huge domain, right? Starting from sowing all the way to getting the yield or the produce to your table. There's a lot of things that are happening throughout the journey. So to actually experience the problem discovery part, Professor Devdeep asked our team to do this exercise, right? So we actually spent 1 week to pull out some problems that even we were not aware of. Even though we are doing some agricultural projects, but we never went into animal husbandry. So what we did was, we visited the IITB Goshala. We have an Goshala here in campus. And we spoke to the caretakers, the owner of the whole Goshala, and we were impressed, right? So what we did in this exercise is, we approached them, we found out the contacts. There were a few troubles, right? And these troubles will be explained in detail by Ajit later after my portion. So we went to Goshala physically, spoke to them, and we had a lot of problems, right? Let me tell you, every domain, every small sector will have n number of problems. You'll have to list out all these problems and pick up the most urgent problem solution that's required, right? So that's what we did. We went, we spoke to them, and we identified around 10 problems only with Gaushala. But this for this presentation, we have prepared 5 videos that describes the problem, or a background of what actually is the what's leading to the problem in let's say 38 seconds. So we have made 5 videos of 38 seconds, and this was suggested by Professor Devdeep, and all this we did in 1 week, right? So it is a very interesting exercise, and right now we will first play the first video, and I will speak a little in detail. Because we are running short on time, we'll play the rest of the 4 and then come back to some more insights of the problem discovery part. Yeah, Deepa, next slide.
IIT Bombay has a Gaushala. In this Gaushala, 130 cows and bulls in total reside. Every day, these cows and bulls are taken in batches of 40 to 50 each time by human laborers for grass grazing. Sometimes 2 to 3 cows are left behind on the way back to Gaushala. An innovative way to track the livestock is essential.
So yeah, so here main problem is how do you keep track of the livestock, right? This is with respect to Gaushala, so it's going to be cows mainly because they are the ones who are taken for grass grazing. So considering 130 cows, maybe a smaller number, but there are Gaushalas outside IIT campus that have nearly 1,000 cows. So these it's not only about tracking, right? If you just look at the cow, they are used for a lot of the rest of the problems revolve about the importance that cow is overall. We'll look at the videos later, but so apart from tracking the livestock, it's also I think there is a requirement of even keeping track of the health of these livestock as well, because they are also living beings, so we need to consider their health as well. So there are a lot of just problems only with taking care of these livestock. So this is what we found, and this is the first problem that that was actually addressed and was a concern for the caretakers there. So for now, we'll continuously play the next 4 videos and again start the discussion. Yeah.
Over the years and in the history of our nation, it is a known fact that cow dung has a lot of benefits. In IIT Bombay Goshala, the livestock produces approximately 500 kilos of cow dung. Cow dung has a lot of applications with respect to being a fertilizer, antibacterial, and a very good thermal insulator. A lot of byproducts and products can be produced out of cow dung.
Next video, Deepa. You can continue.
Over cow urine or gomutra have similar benefits as cow dung. Both cow dung and cow urine are essential elements in preparation of Amrit Mitti, which is a well-known fertile soil base. But it is a very difficult task to collect gomutra from goshalas. An innovative technique to separate urine from cow dung is essential. Most of the goshalas in India house between 100 to 1,000 cows and bulls. These livestock are known for emitting greenhouse gases like methane. This calls for some innovative ways to design the goshalas with proper ventilation and automation to control these greenhouse gases. Amrit Mitti, a wonder soil, is rich in nutrients and organic. The process of making Amrit Mitti is a tedious and a long waiting process of 4 months. The key elements for making Amrit Mitti is just 4: cow dung, gomutra, biomass, and jaggery. A way to automate this will be really helpful in mass production of Amrit Mitti.
So yeah, so these are the 5 problems that we discovered, right, when we visited the Goshala. So these are just problems with respect to our vision, right? So just looking at these video, maybe each one of you have identified, furthermore or newer problems that may be possible or maybe needs to be addressed. So this exercise really helped us, and I think all the teams should go through this exercise as well. But like I said before, so there were few problems that we had in discovering the problem itself. So I'll hand over to Ajit, who will in detail tell us about what we faced.
Good evening to all. Hi, I'm audible, right? Yeah, okay, thanks. Hi guys. So basically, Lohit and I actually visited this Goshala. We have a 500-acre campus, IIT Bombay, and approximately we have 130 cattle. These are like stray cattle or kind of these cattle were before IIT setup basically. So nowadays, what institute has done, we have created a Goshala. We are another Goshala is also under construction, and like 5 to 7 people are there who are actually managing these cattle. Basically, they are from Gujarat, and we went there, and we approximately for this particular task, we almost 4 to 5 times we visited this place. Okay, and what we found is like, can you go to next slide, Deepa? Deepa. So what we found, like first you meet someone, and then they have like their own point of view or their own uh, way of interest, you can say. Like these are a worker from Gujarat, right? And they basically take care of all these cows and bulls basically. So we have 40 45 bulls, and rest of are cows and bulls. Okay, and they basically, these people, they take care of all cows and bulls. What they do, they like bunch of cows basically. You can say ki 70 cows go, they will take it to hill. So we have a small hill in IIT, and there is a lake also, lake area, where they take them for basically grassing. And we basically tried to communicate with them, and they said ki, yeah, we have some issues of tracking. And then so basically what happened, uh, I think what we did was ki we tried to uh, uh, ask them several questions, but we did not introduce basically to them. Yeah, ऐसे बोल सकते हैं. And they were skeptical about the things. Ki, these are the problems. Like first time, so they said ki no, we don't have any issue here, and there is no problem and all. Then like second visit, they opened a bit, and then they slowly started telling their problems and all. So these kind of things are there. Like then again, they like in second meeting, I think they referred us to their manager or supervisor, who told us about more things and all. So so finding a right person is also a task. And I would suggest everyone to like keep your questionnaire ready beforehand, and what you are going to ask them and all. So it will be easy for you, and keep notes and things basically. And yeah, time and patience needed, because you don't know when we are going there to meet them, right? And they have their own activities and they have their own plans. So we have to adjust ourselves with the things, and we have to like really we need to be a good listener there and take notes and all. So that's it. That's it from my side.
Ajit, very good points.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, we can you can actually uh, type into chat box or yeah, sir. You were saying something. Hello, Kavi sir.
Excellent point. Excellent point. I would like to see if there are any questions here, but I'd like to just highlight that the most challenging and critical aspect of this entire exercise is going and speaking to the stakeholders, going and talking to them, record your conversations, make extensive notes, and then afterwards you should go back and put post-it notes up of all the insights that you got as to what the problem might be, because the problem might be very different from what you believe the problem is, and there are many aspects to it. So it's very important that this listening is very important as to what the real problem is as opposed to what you think it is. Like in that video, Ciroli, the Italian who goes to Namibia, he couldn't understand why these guys are not farming in the very fertile lands right next to the river. He didn't realize that there's another problem, that the hippos will maraud and take away all your produce. Now, keeping the hippos out would be much more expensive than growing anything there. Okay, so he had not even thought that could be a problem. Similarly, us city dwellers who don't have a history in agriculture need to be especially careful, and we need to be humble. I think humility is very important. That when you speak to someone from the agricultural sector, don't go I know the technology and I'm there to solve your problems. No, these guys are very knowledgeable. You need to learn from them, and you can perhaps use the technology and science that you have to solve problems. In fact, they might have problems which might have a beautiful solution, which they don't know could actually be implemented, but you might have an answer there. But it's very important to listen. I think Devdeep here has a point that he'd like to add to this. Devdeep, over to you.
No, not really. You have covered it. The only other thing, if you do a search on YouTube, you'll find a very nice Steve Jobs video where he says, don't start with the solution. Okay. Start with the customer experience or the customer problem, and then work backwards to come up with the solution. Especially engineering graduates or engineering MTech, BTech, PhDs, start with a solution, which may be their project, their thesis, their publication, their research, and then they start saying, okay, how do I sell it? Okay, and that may not be a good idea. So start with a customer problem and then work backwards to create a solution. And as Professor Kavi said, don't fall in love with your idea. Many of us, especially the brighter and the more intelligent we are, we're in love with our ideas. My idea, it's been published, it's a thesis, it's won this award, and therefore there must be a demand for it. So don't fall in love with your own idea. If you have to fall in love with your customer's problem, not the customer's problem, okay? And then work backwards from the customer's problem to identify what is the right solution, whether it's IoT, robotics, automation, it could be, smart irrigation, soil, supply chain, whatever. So that's the add-on that I would have for you.
Devdeep, beautiful point. There are some excellent questions in the chat. I would like you guys, I think your questions are very important. Don't think your questions are silly questions. The answers can be silly, but your questions are not. So we have Harsh Dhole who's saying, do we have to find the problems ourselves? Now, this is the beauty of the thing. Yes, we want you guys to find the problems, because the problem is the most important thing. If you go into a PhD thesis, 50 to 60% of the PhD thesis is finding the problem to solve. Once you know what has to be solved, we can solve it. In fact, I can employ somebody else also to solve it. But finding the problem is the real challenge. And that's where we find that 350, 1000, whatever students you are embedded inside the opportunity. That means the problems that you can see from where you are, I cannot see from Bombay, or Devdeep can't see from where he is, right? So you guys are the very powerful, you are the magic in this entire exercise, because you are embedded in a context which is looks like it's unique to you. But as soon as you start solving their problems, you might find that there's a global market for it, which makes it very exciting. There are some more questions there, Devdeep. Maybe you'd like to sort of address those. What to do if you have doubts in the tasks which are given?
So you
Actually,
will always have.
yeah.
Okay, go on.
Sorry.
Yeah,
You know,
Devdeep.
so, there will always be doubts. A lot of people will have doubts. Your investors will have doubts. Your employees will have doubt. Your professors will have doubt. Your peers will have doubt. Your parents will have doubts. Okay. If you want to be an entrepreneur, okay, a guiding principle is ultimately the customer has to buy your product. Okay. So when in doubt, ask the customer. Because you know what? The professor, the investor, the employee, the guide may not actually know what the customer needs are. So when in doubt, ask the customer. A customer a day, okay, is a good thumb rule for entrepreneurs.
There's some other very good questions from Mohammad Aidanwala. We are very eager to find and solve problems, but currently we are restricted only to the tasks, which is totally new for our team, and we are not sure we'll be able to solve the problem or not. Please give clarity. I'll ask Amit to answer this question.
Yeah,
Amit,
great.
you don't know here.
Yes, so I guess his question is regarding the training sprint that you are going through, if I'm not wrong, Mohammed, right? So in the training sprint, we are exposing you to the technology, and we are trying to give you a sense of what technology you may require to solve your problem. Now, it's not necessary, as you are saying, that these technological tools you will require. So we are giving you a very basic overview of those. So it is necessary for you to at least go through this training and get some clarity. Okay, so that was all that we wanted to cover in the training sprint. And if you have any doubts in the task that you are doing, you have access to the discussion forum. If you have not received the discussion forum invitation link, as Samiksha has pointed out, then I request you to check your email again, because we have already sent it twice. Okay, so we are sure you must have received it on your registered email ID. And I guess that should solve your question, right, Mohammed? You can put it in the chat. Till then, we have another question from Harsh, and his question is: do reverse engineering the problems is the best solution? I guess Devdeep sir or Kavi sir, would you like to take that?
Yeah, why not? Reverse engineering. Why not
Yes.
reverse engineering? If you have a machine which is available abroad for 1 lakh rupees and you can make it for about 10,000 rupees here, by all means go and reverse engineer it. And in fact, the Chinese have taught us many things as to how to do it really well, right? They can take a very expensive gizmo from abroad, but anyway, don't quote me on this, but they kind of often violate patents, but before you can get out there and catch them, they've moved on to the next product. Okay, and there are often ways of actually implementing an idea that you don't violate the patent, right? So there are ways that if you are ingenious and you use your mind, you can not be bound by a patent also. I think as you go into the market, patents are very important, and you should not infringe patents because it can cause you problems. But there are workarounds that you can do, right, where you've solved the problem and not infringed any patent. It just needs a little bit of thinking. Anu's got something to say there, I
No,
suspect.
I wasn't answering this question. I was just going to add that the first thing that you all will do in your problem discovery is actually customer discovery. And from personal experience, that's the best part of the jobs that I have ever done. Very often, it doesn't need a questionnaire. It just needs some thought bubbles written down on a paper, and it needs a conversation. It doesn't need English. Most of our customers are happy speaking Hindi or Marathi or whatever language. So have fun while you do customer discovery. So, the right weightage will be कि आप 33%, 1/3 of the time आप लोग बात कर रहे हो, and 2/3 of the time the customer is speaking. Only then will you get a good blend of what he or she is telling you. So I only wanted to add that customer discovery has been great fun. So think of that when you're going about doing that.
Savdhan, listen to her very
And-
carefully. This is a lady with 500 crore advertising budget.
My personal
Yeah,
experience,
me.
I used to sell makeup. I went to Manipur, Imphal, and the lady who sells bhaji it was better made up than I was. So I just sat next to her and understood what she does and why she thinks it is so important to being confident. So just observing, talking to people, best learnings from there. Best learnings.
Anu, this is a very interesting insight. I think you are a big shot, IIT graduate sitting in your head office in Bombay or Delhi or Singapore or wherever what would someone like you want in going to Imphal and talking to a sabji wali basically? Just explain to mentality.
The next new idea doesn't come from a head office. No head office has idea generation power. The ideas or the problems are in the streets of our towns and cities. So nothing you can get by sitting in any AC office. Abhi, your team members showed me the Goshala which I pass on my walk, but I didn't know all of this, which was sit in my own campus, that there are these problems that we can solve for in an economic manner and make money out of it, and solve somebody's problem. So very simple answer on that. The ideas are all in the streets, are with people. We are just the translators. If you spot the problem and you find the solution, we'll do well by society, we'll do well by ourselves. पर ये idea घर पे बैठ के नहीं मिलेगा, ये idea office में बैठ के नहीं मिलेगा.
Yeah, Anu, there's one other very important thing that you said, She said, have fun.
Yeah,
Can you
absolutely.
go and explain to your parents, sir and madam is saying that you should have fun when you are studying and you should have fun at college and you should have fun while doing all this godagiri. I mean, life is not here to have fun, is it? It's to suffer a job, to suffer 9 to 5 and complain and stuff like that, right? What's this new idea that you just explained that you must have fun in what you do? Please explain.
I'm very serious. So even today, I think the biggest pleasures in life are conversations. After I finish as a faculty member at IIT, I'm going to open a chai ki dukan and have conversations. They don't even have to pay me in money; they can pay me in chats. But that's what we all like. We like human connections. That's what we like. But to continue from where you were saying, Professor Kavi, my mother used to think कि यार इतनी पढ़ाई लिखाई कराई और ये अभी जाके she's traveling to villages and she's traveling to and coming back and telling me this lady told me something and how important it was. But yes, I'm telling you, that's where the ideas come from. So, and I liked Devdeep's one customer a day. In the early stages of your startups, it will probably be 10 customers a day or 5 customers a day. And everybody is a customer. You should talk to your Uber driver or your Rapido, Joby, whatever. So I think I think everything is fun and you'll find a solution while doing that. So thanks for repeating that.
Excellent, Anu. Amit, over to you.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so I see there are a lot of questions related to the competition now. So we'll start discussing about what are the next steps in the EYC competition. And even after that, if you have some more questions, we can take that as well. But before we do that, I am opening a poll. And in this poll, you'll just have to tell us how was this session that we organized for you today. There are 5 minutes given for this session. So make sure you let us know your views and your inputs. Okay. I'll start presenting and I'll talk about the competition till the time you guys are telling us your views. Okay. Yes. So now the major question is, what are the next steps in EYC 2021-22? The first is that the training sprint deadline is set as 12th of November. Okay. So midnight of 12th of November, or I should say specifically 11:59 p.m., we'll close all the submissions. You will still have access to the resources, but the option to upload and submit your assignments would be 12th of November. Okay, that is the first thing. Second, you have to submit proposals. Now, what are these proposals and what is the format going to be and all that we'll cover in the coming slides, and we'll share the format and everything via email and via our portal as well. Okay, so this proposal submission window would be from 10th of November to 17th of November. Okay, so what you have to do and all that, I'm coming to that. But before you start writing your proposal, as mentioned in our session today, you need to visit fields to talk to customers about the problems that they are facing. Okay, this is very important, and you need to follow the steps which we have taught you in today's session. We hope you would have gathered some insights or some know-how as to how you have to go about it. And this will help you in building a very strong proposal. So basically the process is that you need to submit three proposals to us, and we will choose the best proposal that you have submitted to us, and you will start working on that proposal after the training sprint ends. Okay. And since we have explained you all these things about going to the field and talking to the customer, we at least require a video from your end. And that video could be a very short video, a 30-second video maybe, in which you are explaining about where you went, who you talked to. It could be a slideshow of the pictures, and you could tell us that this is what we saw, this is what we are trying to address and all that. Okay, so when you submit a video, your chances of that proposal getting accepted would be very high. So make note of this thing.
One important point is that if the video can also list the kind of insights that they came up with.
Exactly,
I think
correct.
insights are very important.
Exactly. So we can share a format with you also. So when that submission window will open, we'll tell all the points that needs to be covered in the video. And of course, you are free to use your creativity and your imagination to make the video look better. Okay, so we'll do that as well. But make sure you have to do this field visit during this set duration. So this is the first time you would be approaching the customer. It's not necessary that you'll get all the details in the first visit. So make sure you start your process from now itself. So that's why we are giving you this duration of around 2 weeks to do it. Okay. And then again, if you feel like you need to visit, you need to improve upon the things which they have told you, or you want to gather more insights, you are of course free to visit them. And this will help you develop a very good communication skill as well to the customer that you are trying to solve the problem for. Okay. So this, yeah, okay. Now coming to the part where students are talking about whether we would be giving them problem statements or they have to find their own problem statements. So we will share a list of problem statements, and these problem statements we have gathered from agricultural engineering students and faculty and researchers. Okay, so we'll share problem statements for IoT and embedded systems track, and we'll share it for the AgriBoat and the drone track. So I hope you guys are aware that you are divided into two parts as of now, and there would be a separate list for each of these tracks. So you have the option to select a problem statement which we are giving to you, or you are free to give your own problem statements. Okay, so these are the two things that you can do. Now, even if you are choosing the problem statement which we are giving to you, that does not mean you don't have to visit any fields and not do the customer survey, right? You would have to do that, but we are giving you an idea of the current problems which are being faced in the agricultural domain. And these are extremely fresh problem statements which we have gathered in the past 2 months. Okay, so the team is free to choose the problem statement from our list or submit their own. Okay. The third is that you can submit a maximum of 3 proposals, and format will be shared again by 10th of November. On the portal, we'll tell you the process and we'll send you an email also. Okay. Next is the allotment of the problem statement. So since you would be submitting 3 proposals, the proposal that would be finalizing for you would be based on 2 factors. First is how you have described in the proposal the problem statement that you are trying to address. Have you gone to the customer to talk to them or not? And the second would be the performance in the training sprint. So this is the second factor which we have been highlighting throughout the past 2 to 3 weeks, that you would be judged based on your performance in the training sprint. There is no hard and fast cutoff that we are going to tell you. But yes, your performance in training sprint will matter, because that will give us the confidence that yes, you have the technical know-how to solve the proposal and to solve the problem that you are trying to tell us. Okay, so these are 4 things which are very important to keep in mind. And this is all we had planned for this session. I'll stop sharing. Yes, we can take up questions related to the competition, or any other questions if you like. Okay. Mhm. Okay, if you are facing issues with respect to the invitation link, you need not worry. We can send it again today. So keep an eye on your spam or the promotions folder. Maybe you will get a invitation there. Okay, any other thing? Okay, this question has been repetitive, whether if you don't submit your assignments, you would get eliminated or not. See, again, your selection of the problem statement, we will judge you based on your performance in the training sprint. So yes, of course, we want that you perform well, and you of course submit more assignments, as many assignments as possible, right? And since it is a national level competition, we will judge the overall performance of all the teams and then take a call on how many assignments what they submitted, or how was their performance and all that. Okay, so you need to submit more. You need to at least attempt all the MOOCs that you are enrolled to. Okay, and you need to submit assignments. Okay, yes, you can submit more than one problem statement. We are giving you the option of submitting at most 3, not more than that. So you have the option for submitting 3, and the format and all will be shared with you shortly. Okay.
I think it's important to note here that
Yeah.
we want to get as many people to the finishing line as possible. And whatever we
Correct.
are doing is to help you get there, basically, because we don't want you matched up with an idea or some technology that you would find too challenging to do, right? Because then you'll get frustrated. We don't want that to happen. We want you to keep you in a zone where you can compete with yourself and do something useful. So we want you to win, right? So that's where we come from. We are trying to mentor you to help you grow in this space. And I think we are very privileged here to have mentors like Anu Narasimhan and Devdeep here. We've got vast amount of experience, and you will not normally have the opportunity to have a chat or a vartalap with them. And we have a highly motivated Yantra team, which is kind of raring for you guys to go and cheerleading you and helping you whenever you need. So I think you guys are lucky. We are all lucky to have this kind of magic here with us. Let's make the most of it and also have fun. So
Absolutely.
over to Amit. Do
Absolutely.
excuse
Yes.
me though.
Yes, sure. So, so this is a Q&A round which is going to happen. If Professor Devdeep and Anuradha ma'am or Professor Kavi Arya, if you'd like to leave the session, thank you. Thank you so much for attending.
But
We'll of course
but
see you
Anu,
again. Yeah.
some concluding remarks from both Anu and from Devdeep, and then we can kind of
Yeah, sure. Definitely. We'll take up the questions after the concluding remark. Sure. Over to you, Anuradha ma'am.
No, it is really nice to. I must first compliment Deepa, Ajit, Lohit, Amit, all of you who spoke today. It was great to see. I was texting Professor Kavi and Professor Devdeep that we are students and y'all are actually the teachers now. So very nice to see. I think the biggest advantage of e-Yantra and all of you as participants will have is just working in a new space with as much input as you, I mean, far more input than you thought you would ever get. I'm happy to have folks reach out to me individually if you want on email, not on WhatsApp text or something. That's tougher for me, but happy to. And like I said before, go have fun and chat with people.
Thanks, Anu. Thank you. Devdeep.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, really, the last thing I want to say is first thing that I said. And the first thing that I said was just to remind you, the work that you are doing is important for India. It's a large sector with lots of problem, but a huge amount of technology emerging technology, as I said, IoT, bots, robots, big data, whatever you have. Okay, so start with the problem, work backwards to pick up the solution and grow the country. For you also, it can be the journey for the next 35 to 40 years. You can be an entrepreneur, but like Deepa said, the skills that you acquire will also be if you take a job. You'll become what is called an intrapreneur, which means you work for a company, but you do exactly the things that we talked. Professor Anu talked about going to Manipal. Okay, so going and meeting a customer, and you will be a successful entrepreneur as well. So good luck. Thank you for having me, and thank you, Professor Kavi, Deepa, Lohit, Ajit, and Amit for, I think, very good job. Over to you, Amit. Take care. God bless you all.
Over
Thank
to
you.
Amit. The
Thank
Q&A
you. Thank you, guys.
will begin.
Yeah, we'll take on all the questions related to the competition. So the question is from Sri Datta. Will the problem statements be given first? So yes, we'll provide you with the list of problem statements first, and then of course you will get the option to choose the problem statements that we have given, or you could give us your own proposal as well. Okay, so you'll get both the options. The next question is whether we can participate in the upcoming session if we didn't submit our assignment. That depends on. Okay, so sessions, we have divided the competition into sprints. I hope you know that, right? So after the training sprint, we'll go ahead with the prototyping sprint. And in the prototyping sprint, you would be implementing or you would be building a proof of concept, I should say, okay, for the problem statement that you are allotted to. So if of course you do not perform well in the MOOC, or you do not submit a proposal which is worthy enough to be taken forward, then yes, we won't be able to allow you to sit in the upcoming sessions. Okay, but we want, as Professor Kavi mentioned, we want more and more people to come forward with us. So we are requesting that you give your best in MOOC. You are already enrolled to the discussion forum. You have the mentors over there. You are free to ask your questions. You submit the assignments. Let us know that you are technically capable to solve the problem statements that you are going to propose. Okay, so it's very necessary that you do it. Okay. Yes, the video can contain an interview as well. So the format and all we'll of course let you know. But we want you to plan these things in the coming 2 weeks, and that's the reason we have taken this session. So when you go through this session, at least you'll understand what I have to do it in the next 2 weeks. Okay, so that is required. If you have no questions, yeah, definitely you are free to leave the meeting. No problem. Okay. If the problems are not solved fully, then what? That's a question by Omkar. So I'm not clear with your question, but I believe that what you are trying to say is if you don't have a solution to the problem, right? So if you don't have a solution to the problem, of course, you are engineers, you have to find a solution to the problem and then address it, right? Maybe you could just elaborate further in the chat and then I'll get back to you. Okay. Where can I find the link for submission of experiments of embedded systems? So these links you will find in the portal. So log on to the EVA-IC portal, that is evaic.e-yantra.org, and there login, and then you have the courses tab. So it is represented by a book. So just go over there and you will find the task button, and then you can upload. Okay. I can give you a demo at the end once I cover all the questions. So I don't think that should be an issue. Or rather, what I suggest is you try logging in and let me know whether you are able to find that option or not. If not, you can reply in the chat. Okay. With some errors, will it be okay? I'm not able to understand this question again. But if you are saying that you are submitting the assignments with some errors, then of course it is not okay because we would be auto-evaluating them. So if there are errors, if it is being auto-evaluated, not all assignments are auto-evaluated, then it will point you that there is some error in your code. So try to debug it, try to solve it. And we know that you are a team of 2 to 4 members, so you can easily divide the task, right? It's not necessary that everyone should do everything. We are taking team submissions, so you are actually you should, I must say, you should divide the task so that you can do everything, right? So you can get trained in IoT and the other person can get trained in embedded systems. So that's the option that we are trying to give to everyone. Okay. If you are facing installing issues related to some MOOC, we request you to put that on the discussion forum and not here, because that will surely increase the length of this session. Okay, so these are technical issues which can be solved. Others have already installed and tried uploading it, so they are already doing it. So maybe if you ask there, others can help you, we can help you, and we'll together solve it. Okay. The next question is, can we come up with ideas related to aquaculture? Anything related to agriculture? Yes, the domain is agriculture. So yes, you are allowed to do that. Okay. But make sure that you address agriculture. Okay. I may not be the correct person to let you know just based on the question that you are asking. Make sure that it is related to agriculture. That's what we require because the domain is agriculture. Okay. Are there some limitation in technologies that can be used to solve the problem? No, we do not have any limitation on that. The training material that we are providing, it's only just to get you acquainted with the technologies that we can mentor you to. Okay. So if you have better technologies, if you have some better ideas, you are of course free to do that. Okay. So you will have to submit both. The training sprint, the deadline for submitting all the tasks is 12th of November. So you have to submit your task till then. And the problem statement or the proposal, I must say, the proposals you can start submitting from November 10th. So we let you know when that is active, and we will give you sufficient time to do that. But for now, what you have to do is you have to start thinking on what you want to solve and try to go to some fields or ask them about the issues that they are facing and try to come up with your own problem statement. Okay. Okay. Can we get the recorded video link for today's session? We'll try to think about this because we already told that at least 2 people from the team should be present. So we'll take a call on this and we'll get back to you. Okay. Is there a tutorial on how to submit assignment? Just log into the EYC portal and I'm sure you will find how to submit it. It's very easy. The instructions are already mentioned in the resources. All you have to do is go to the courses tab, click on the task button, select the problem statement and upload, right? It's as simple as attaching a document to an email. So that I don't think that should require a tutorial. But again, if you're not able to, you're free to ask this question on our discussion forum. We'll post some screenshots and we'll let you know how to do it. Okay. If we select the proposal from the list, is the field visit and video necessary? Yes. Yes, it is necessary. Of course, we are providing you with a problem statement so that you can think on those lines. And if you have a better solution, you can try to solve it because these are fresh problem statements which have come up from the agricultural domain. Okay. So yes, you have to go to the field anyhow. If you are facing issues with Python, again, you are free to ask your doubts on the discussion forum. Divide the task among your team members and try to ask questions as many as possible. And make sure you search for the questions because there are already a lot of questions which have already been answered by our mentors. So you will get a lot of technical help there, right? Just by logging into the portal, you will have that. Sir, having system is compulsory or it will be okay with devices? Now so if you want to solve the MOOCs, I believe all the MOOCs will require you to have at least a system. By system, I mean a PC or a laptop, right? So if you don't have, maybe you can go to your college lab and access the computer there, or you are free to use your own or your team's computer. Okay. Related to team name and any email ID issue that you guys have mentioned, we won't be able to check it manually now. So we had already asked you to do it by login using the same email ID which you had used for EYC, right? And the naming convention of the IDs. So you need not worry now. We can't do much about it. We'll take a call on this, and if there are any issues, you will of course receive an email. Okay. Okay, since you are participating for the first time, do we have to complete IoT task or embedded? You have to complete both, and that's the reason we have given you access to both, right? So there are 2 tracks, IoT embedded, and the next track is SFC, drone, and agribot. So if you are enrolled to the IoT and embedded track, you have to do both the track. You have to do both the courses. Okay. The reference list of problem statements, tentatively it will be released by November 10th, that is 2 days from now. So you'll have the list by then. Okay, if you're not familiar with the VBOT software, we believe no one is familiar, and that's the reason the resources that we are provided, they start from installation instructions. So when we are providing the installation instructions, of course, we know that many of you would not be familiar with it, right? So there are a lot of tutorials online as well. You can go to the websites and try to solve the issues yourself, or you still have the option to uh, try it on your own or ask doubts on discussion forum. Yes, of course, you can submit your assignments as much you have completed, because we have already enabled the submission option. Okay. Okay. Hmm, okay. I guess these are repetitive questions. If 2 errors are solved and from 4 errors in an experiment, then is it okay? Of course, it is not okay. You will have to solve all the errors, right? I mean, I don't think I can answer this question in any other way. Okay. Okay. Regarding the Telegram group, of course, we'll take a call on it and we'll let you know. But for now, you only have access to the discussion forum, which we believe is more than enough, at least for the training sprint. When we proceed ahead, maybe we can create a more closed group where you can get to know about other things and discuss closely. I'm participating for the first time. I can't view the task and unable to access the discussion forum. Okay, Hari Prasad, I request you to log into the EYC portal and check courses that you are enrolled to. So you will have access to the courses. If you are not, you are free to shoot us an email at eyc@e-yantra.org. Okay, and we'll get back to you on that. Discussion forum link, we can resend the invites after this session. So make sure you check your spam or promotions tab. Okay. Yes, you can upload multiple times. The latest submission will only be counted. For now, there is no extension in the deadline. Okay. Assignments and tasks are to be submitted by the entire team. So only one team member will submit. That is also enough. So that is why we have given the option that you can divide the courses amongst your team members. Okay, there's an interesting question by Jaydeep, which is like, what if we are in IoT track and we found problem statements related to drones and bots interesting? So we cannot restrict you from not proceeding for that, but we recommend that you go ahead with the IoT track because you have some technical knowledge about it. So if you go ahead with the drones and the bots and you try to solve it and you don't have the technical knowledge, you may get frustrated in the coming months. And this is not something which we are just cooking up on our own. We have experienced this in our past EYC and EYRC competitions. So we recommend you, again, I'm stressing on the word recommend, that you go ahead with the problem statements in the IoT track. If you have the technical knowledge and if you are confident, then of course we cannot restrict you from that. Okay. Yes, you will have to create a video on field where you would be visiting. Can we change from IoT? No, you cannot change. That was already mentioned at the time of registration. So you cannot change the courses that we have allotted to you. Okay. If you are in drone track and submit ideas related to IoT, again, I have covered this. Yes, you can, but again, we won't recommend that. But it's up to you and your team. Okay. Is the field visit mandatory? Yes, the field visit is mandatory. Okay, great. I believe, okay, there is another question. Can the timings for the meetings be kept at a later time? So these timings are based on the availability of the professors and the mentors, right? So we cannot take a call on these, but that is why we have just made a restriction that at least 2 members from a team should be present. If 2 members are present, that is enough. And the other 2 members or other people can get to know about this session and what was explained in, later on from them. Okay. So regarding questions like we are having NSEM exams and all, we won't be able to take such queries into consideration because the NSEM exams of colleges throughout the nation are at different timings, right? So we cannot take everyone's availability into consideration. I hope you will understand that. So if you are able to find a day or two or some hours maybe around your house or something, you can do that. If you choose the problem statement provided by us, then yes, again, yes, the field visit is mandatory. That is not a question, because in today's session, what we have learned is that you need to go to the customer and learn about the problems that they are facing, right? So that would be required. Questions related to embedded system and all, please ask on the discussion forum. One video per proposal is enough. Yeah. They have been solved. I have taken all those things into consideration. I'm watching that, and the mentors are replying to you. So if you go to the discussion forum, click on the embedded systems track, you will find the answers to all your questions. Okay. I guess we have. Okay, if you're facing issues related to uploading, maybe you put a post on discussion forum, or you can shoot us an email, and we'll solve that. So the training sprint has already started, Siva Pradeep, and it ends on November 12th. Okay. There are no extensions for uploading, so make sure you upload it by November 12th. Okay. I believe I have answered a lot of queries, and most of them are repetitive now. But thank you guys for joining us today. I hope you enjoyed our session, and I hope that I've been able to answer most of your queries as well. Yes, you have to submit both embedded and IoT. Yash, you have asked that question, right? Okay. We had already sent a meeting invitation 2 days back. So Dharnesh, we request you to keep checking your email so that you do not face any issues. Okay.